Yeah, another test of China's earthquake gun, perhaps? Yup. First deployed on Taiwan, now being used in New York City. I knew it. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Where are we? We were talking about the earthquake. Let's get into it. Very rare 4.8 magnitude earthquake rocking the East Coast, folks.
This is CNN breaking news right now, and just to tell you what we're hearing, the latest out of New York, the tri-state area, that an earthquake was felt in New York and the surrounding areas, where we understand from the U.S. Geological Survey in the last several minutes that they have initially measured the earthquake to be about 4.8. Andrew Kaczynski, our investigative reporter. Andrew, it doesn't take any investigating to figure out what's going on here. What did you feel?
Yeah, so I was in my bedroom with my toddler, you know, as one does on a Friday, and we felt, first I kind of thought I was going crazy because I looked and mirror was shaking, you know, stuff was just moving around a little bit, never experienced an earthquake before, and I was, first thought I was going nuts a little bit, but then, you know, what did I do immediately? Went on Twitter and saw about, 3,000 other people tweeting that they asking if they felt an earthquake too.
Yeah. And Andrew, I mean, what did it feel like? How long did it last? Did it bother the toddler at all? I hope the little one's okay.
Oh yeah, Jim, we've survived the New York City earthquake. We're doing okay.
Bro, this is so funny. This is New York's version. This is New York's version of like when it rains in LA. Okay. Light drizzle in Los Angeles, and we're like, everything is going to shit. Everything is going to shit. And then this, like, it's a 4.8, man. It's a 4.8. Are you crazy? You said we survived a 4.8? Bro, it barely shakes here in Los Angeles. It was a 4.8. The fuck do you mean, man?
My toddler just jumping on the bed, literally did not notice a thing. I think it maybe lasted, a few seconds around? Yeah, a few seconds. And then we were just immediately like, what was that? Because we haven't experienced something like that before.
Got it. And no damage? Nothing fell off a shelf or anything like that?
Nothing fell off a shelf. No, I'm trying to look. No, everything looks in place.
Got it. Okay. Hey, Andrew, thanks for calling in.
That's so funny.
You win the prize of the first reporter to be on standby and ready for us. We appreciate it. Let me go to Jason Carroll, who's in New York. Jason, Andrew beat you just by a smidge, but thank you for jumping in there and helping us out here. And I don't want to make light of it because I'm sure this worried folks a little bit there for a few seconds. What happened? Were you in the bureau? Did you feel this? Tell us.
Well, full disclosure, Jim, I'm from California. So first of all, I'm used to feeling earthquakes. I was on the 18th floor with my colleagues at my computer, and the computer monitor started moving just ever so slightly. And to be honest, I didn't have breakfast this morning, and I thought, am I lightheaded? Am I about to faint or something? And for a split second, I thought, are we having an earthquake? And I thought, this just cannot.
I was on the Topanga Bridge at the time of the quake, and I thought I was going to die for real. That's so funny. That's awesome. Bro, don't admit that. That's crazy. Oh my God.
Walk out of my office. I see my colleague Jean Caceres, and she says, I think we just had an earthquake. And then, of course, all the producers started gathering around, and it quickly became evident to us that we had experienced an earthquake here in New York City. Not the first time. Several years ago, I think you remember we had another slight earthquake in the New York City area. I remember feeling that. That's when we were over at a different location. Here, just to let your viewers know, we are at a place called Hudson Yards. Right. It's on the very west side of New York City, right up against the river there. We are on the 18th floor, and we could feel it. I mean, once again, it lasted for several seconds. Again, I'm from California, so we are, people like us, we're accustomed to feeling things like this, not accustomed to feeling it in a place like New York City. So I had to sort of check myself and think, yes, this is an earthquake that we are experiencing. And I have to say, you know,
and
being
Jason,
from
I mean, a 4.7 is not insignificant. I mean, that you're going to feel that.
You definitely are going to feel that. I mean, again, when you're from a place like California, a magnitude 4.6, 4.7 isn't going to rattle nerves, if you will. But in a place like New York City, most definitely.
Yeah, another test of China's earthquake gun, perhaps? Yup. The HAARP weapon, first deployed on Taiwan, also sometimes known as Chinese Taipei, now being used in New York City. I knew it.
All right, and Jason,
Did he just call us New Yorkers pussies? Yeah, he did, because he's right. New Yorkers are pussies about earthquakes, just like Californians are pussies about rainfall. Okay, that's it. No, that's literally it. People from LA freak out over 0.001 inches of rain. It's almost like people freak out when they experience things they aren't used to. Wow, Weeby, brilliant point. Wow, you really nailed it.
I mean, how did folks around you react to this? I mean, you know, did everybody sort of have the same feeling at the same time? Like, oh my goodness, did we just have an earthquake?
We did. A lot of us were second guessing ourselves. We were wondering, did we just experience that? And then obviously as more and more people started coming out of their offices, we realized what we had experienced was in fact an earthquake. Obviously an unusual event to experience something like this in New York City. And when you're from California and you're used to earthquakes and you move to a city like New York, always in the back of your mind, you always wonder,
bro, I'm sorry, but one of these things is not like the other. No, you're coping. 4.8 is literally the same as like a light drizzle from a California, like a Los Angelino perspective. That's the whole point. No, like 4.8 is literally nothing. It's pretty funny that you're like trying to justify it, but it is quite literally nothing. You have, if you've been watching me for like 2 years, you've probably seen me go through a bunch of like 5.2 earthquakes, at least like 4 or above 4, like a 5, literally on this stream. Like you've seen it. This is what happens. Here, I'll show you. That's it. I just did it. It goes on for like 20 seconds and then it stops. Tri-state reacting to the earthquake the same way California reacts to the seasons, except it rains a few times a year. We get an earthquake once a decade. Bro, I didn't feel shit, but there were other people that did in the same location I was working at. Now, I will say this. I will say this. The problem is East Coast infrastructure is probably dog shit, just like West Coast infrastructure is dog shit. And because infrastructure is already not hardened towards like extreme weather events or like light rain in Los Angeles, or here, this is, and it's ironic because he's doing it on Twitter, and he's getting like 55,000, 70,000 likes on it. And it's just like, it's Twitter likes. It's so bad. It's so bad. Whoa. Oh my God. I think that was an earthquake. Earthquake. Baba! Hissettin mi? Earthquake detected. Drop cover. Hold on. Protect yourself. Earthquake. You freaking out in this clip? Yeah, it's a 5.5. What do you mean? Doesn't sound like nothing. I mean, I keep streaming. It's not like what's going on. And then I look back to see what it looks like. Yeah, that one was like right here too. Why'd you put a Turkish accent on it? New Yorkers think 4 is half of an 8. Oh yeah, guys, the difference between a 5.5 and a 4.8 is massive, dude. I love that. I love that the dude was like, it doesn't look like nothing. Yeah, if you got a 5.5, you would know that there's a massive difference between a 4.8 and a 5.5. Anyway, it's not about the magnitude. It's about the fact that we aren't used to it. So it's scary because you don't know what it is happening. Yeah, I know. So that's what I was actually going to talk about. 2 things I was going to talk about. Obviously, I know that it's like different. You're not used to it. It's different. So you're not used to it and it scares you. That's fine. It's normal. Overall, like Japanese people will probably laugh at us for even reacting to any of it. Now, how do you actually say earthquake in Turkish? Deprem. An earthquake of magnitude 5 shakes 10 times as violently as an earthquake magnitude 4. Go easy on the New Yorkers. They don't know the Richter scale. Yeah, I think you guys also need to remember, like, I have probably a little bit of a trauma response to earthquakes, a little bit harder than the average person, partially because I, survived one of the most devastating earthquakes in Turkish history before this last one. So it's like, I was pretty close to the center on that one. So I think I have a little bit of a trauma. So I do get worried, even though like living in LA, I've gotten much more used to it. But having said that, it's not a big deal overall. My point was at 5.5, it's like, even then it's, you just kind of take it on the chin. Having said that, however, one thing I will mention is this. The New York infrastructure is not hardened for earthquakes. So if this was a larger earthquake, or even this one, might have already like caused irreparable damage that we don't even see. Local news just said an East Coast 4.8 is like a West Coast is. It's like it's a men's rights podcast. Local news just said an East Coast 4.8 is like a West Coast 6. It's true. Living in a place that has regular earthquakes is wild to me. I live in the UK and have experienced 2 earthquakes in my entire life. The ground is not supposed to shake. What the fuck? It kind of feels good though. It feels good as fuck, dude. Especially for the ground. Like it probably feels good as fuck for the ground when it shakes like that. You know what I mean? It's like cracking your back, Big stretch. Earth was trying to tell her to take this the fuck
clavicle
off.
Out. It's the summer of clavicle. Is my whole building shaking? Was that an earthquake? Or just me? Okay, love this outfit. Clavicle.
You should not love that outfit. So newsworthy, she didn't even realize. In New York, they got the earthquake alert 20 minutes later after it happened. She literally was not serving. Guys, you have a very false notion of what it means to serve if you think she was serving there. She was not. She was serving boiled steak, okay? That's the only thing she was serving. Yeah, we are still hungry. Rude? Come on, bro. That was some jellied eels being served right there. Some Mormons soaking just had an unreal time. It's a good one. It's a good meme. They found the reason for the earthquake. Ice Spice saying, my bad for the earthquake, y'all. You know this ass be clapping. Facts. All right. Do you like chicken hearts? I do. Very high in protein and delicious. Keizo said, I tripped when I got out of bed this morning. Y'all good. Anyway. Yeah, because he's fat. I get it. I mean, I'm sure that'll continue being a banger forever. Like, no disrespect. No disrespect. This is actually the best tweet I've seen of the earthquake so far, though, which is, if New York is going to steal earthquakes, LA's going to take y'all shit too. Someone fly a plane into the Hollywood sign right now. Don't know why he deleted this banger, because it was objectively a banger. He didn't say anything wrong. Did you see Adam's tweet? I did. What's wrong with people? Was there an earthquake? My nudes in profile. Not the time. Anyway. Eric Adams said, New York City is the best city in the world. Where else can you be a small business owner one day and Fukushima the next? Anyway, New York City will recover. We survived the New York City earthquake. We will rebuild. Oh, it's awesome. Hogs, of course, are probably being very normal about this. Oh, no, they're not. Solar eclipse is coming. Earthquakes, locusts coming. Devil is our president. War's raging. I'm off to the liquor store. Hell yeah, baby. Brandon's doing it again.
I wonder what would happen if something like that happened.
Honestly, dude, hogs make the world so much more fun. Like, let's be for real. Hogs see the world through a much more fun lens overall, okay? They do. That's awesome. By the way, Chinese HAARP gun? Question mark. The map of the impact puts the Trump National Golf Club Bedminster at the epicenter of the earthquake in New Jersey. Don't send it. Did I say Braden? I mean, fine. There you go. Hogs are fun until they turn your country into Empire Strikes Back. Oh, the thing about Chuz, they believe in the end of the day shit and they want it to be true so bad. They see it everywhere. It's like, bruh, if the days were ending, they would have ended already. Y'all stuck here with the rest of us. That's awesome. Margarine Taylor Green says, God is sending America strong signs to tell us to repent. Earthquakes and eclipses and many more things to come. I pray that our country listens. I love that Twitter nerds are like, actually, here's a context. Here is a context note. Earthquakes happen all around the world. Shut up, bitch. Margarine is right. If anything, God told Oklahoma to stop fracking, and those motherfuckers prayed to God that the oil the oil fracking yielded a better bounty. That's both of those things I mentioned are real. Oklahoma's earthquakes due to fracking literally increased in frequency, size, magnitude, impact by insane amounts. And Governor Fallon at the time literally instituted a National Oil Prayer Day. Those are both real things that happened. Mary Fallon, not Jimmy Fallon. But also wonderful that, X's new AI algorithmic topic explainer doesn't know about jokes, should be fine and not a problem. Adams versus earthquake, 50,000 cops in subway showdown. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has announced the deployment of additional police officers to the city subway system in response to an earthquake. The number of officers being sent varies across reports ranging from 50,000 to 1 million. This action is part of the strong response to the situation, with some posts suggesting the officers are being sent to shoot the earthquake, which is likely a hyperbolic expression indicating a robust reaction to the earthquake. This is not a real thing that happened. It's just memes, but the AI doesn't understand memes because it's bad at memes because it's Elon Musk's dumbass meme AI. So it's the funniest thing that could have happened, and it's happening on Twitter in real time. 1 million cops shooting the earthquake in the subways. I tweeted about this yesterday as well. If you guys remember, I posted about this where we found out that where is it? Earlier today, I noticed the trending in Explore tab was no longer aggregating hashtags like it has been since Elon fired the content team. Turns out it's AI aggregation and now is promoting false stories like Iran striking Tel Aviv right now, which was really funny because someone went, is it false though? You always can expect the blue check mark in the replies being like, actually, this very obviously fake story is real. What's the statue behind me? It's Don Quixote do Flamingo. Okay. Anyway, let's finish this off.
Happened here. Now, of course, we don't have to wonder anymore.
Absolutely. All right, Jason. Hey, thank you so much for being ready for us. We appreciate it. I want to go to Laura Dolan, one of our CNN producers out in Long Island. I feel like I'm getting to talk to all of my New York friends today, Andrew, Jason, and Laura. Laura, what did you feel? I think you're out on Long Island. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm about 20 miles out from the city, and when it first started, I thought it was a truck coming down one of the roads near us, like a heavy truck, and it just didn't stop. And it started small, and it got stronger and stronger to the point where I ran outside. I initially thought it might be my boiler or something crazy going on in my home. And when I ran outside, my other neighbors had also, those of us who were home today, and we all thought the same thing. Maybe it was initially something with our home. And when we went outside, we all said, oh, my God, I think we just felt an earthquake. Slightly relieved. It wasn't anything from my home, but then the bigger issue of, wow, that was a really strong earthquake. And like Jason just said, quite different from the one we felt about 10 years ago, I think, where it was just very quick. This one was noticeably stronger, and our homes were shaken. I was a little shaken, but I think my dog felt it. It was a little more concerned than I was after the fact. But
I bet it takes your breath away a little bit. And I was just wondering, Laura, I mean, did anything fall off the shelves? Was there any damage? And forgive me for asking questions. People might say, oh, in California, you should come out here. But I just curious, did anything fall off a shelf or anything?
Nothing fell off the shelf. Things were shaking on my desk that I was working at. On the windowsills, things were shaking, but they didn't fall off the ground. And I did make a clip to my neighbor that you know, welcome to LA, but I'm sure they think this is nothing. So, but for us, it was definitely something. This is not something we feel any day. I mean, this is, you know, growing up here, I'm, you know, a Gen Xer, as all my colleagues know.
Right.
To feel an earthquake at this point, it's pretty shocking for those of us who've lived here on the East Coast for a while.
And I remember the one in D.C. about a decade or so ago, and you felt it and you knew exactly what it was. And I was at all places, Mount Vernon, when that happened, and you could hear all the antiques inside George Washington's house shaking back and forth. And so, I mean, it does kind of catch you by surprise and take your breath away a little bit. And Laura, you were just getting to the question I wanted to ask you next, which is, I know you're a lifelong New Yorker. I mean, have you ever felt anything like this before in New York?
Nothing. Not even close.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that shows you how rare this is. All right, Laura Dolan, thank you so much for calling in. Again, I feel like I'm getting to talk to all my longtime friends in the New York Bureau, Jason and Laura and Andrew. Just want to update our viewers. The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, has tweeted about this. She is obviously going to be updating folks throughout the day. But she did tweet earlier that an earthquake did hit west of Manhattan, felt throughout New York. She says her team is assessing the impacts, any damage that may have occurred. We will update the public throughout the day. And of course, to our viewers who are watching all of this at home, if you happen to have caught some of this on video on your Ring doorbell camera, that sort of thing, feel free to email me or anybody here at CNN about this. And I should...
Feel free to email us. He's like, guys, listen, feel free to call me. Feel free to email me. We can talk about it. We can talk about our feelings. We can talk about how scared we were. Don't listen to these Los Angelinos making fun of you. Golden Kappa Train. Okay, Golden Kappa Train. PSA, I'm providing emotional support to my community in Williamsburg. Yes. We have opened up a new charity in Williamsburg we are providing emotional support to your emotional support snakes, your emotional support hamsters, and your emotional support cats and dogs as well. So fear not, folks. We got you. Don't forget, your animals also need emotional support.
Also note, just on a lighter note, and I know an earthquake is a serious situation wherever it happens, but on a lighter note, the Empire State Building also tweeted, quote, "I am fine." So that from the Empire State Building there, and the Empire State Building also saying we are business as usual at the Empire State Building. I want to go to Pete Montine, our aviation correspondent. Pete, any flight interruptions at this point? Obviously, this had to have been felt over at LaGuardia, JFK, perhaps over at Newark.
Hey, okay, Ghostface Miller, 2 days in a row, by the way. Goddamn. Out AVK Mott, thank you for the 10 gifted. Zylax, thank you for the 20 gifted. 5 Egg, thank you for the 5 gifted. What is happening? Goddamn. How are the World Trade Towers? Oh, yeah. Eggs Guardian, thank you for the 5.
And I have to think it shook people up at those airports as well.
Illumin.
It seems like they've pared down on the ground stops here from the FAA. Here's the latest. There's a ground stop at Newark Liberty International Airport, Big United Hub until 11:30 Eastern Time. In JFK
Trinrec,
until
thank you for the 5.
Eastern Time.
Perry's, thank you for the 5.
and Philly now just deleted from that list. Also, White Plains, where there's commercial
Dang
service,
you
and
with the
Teterboro,
5.
a big
Cancerous.
hub for business jets and corporate aircraft coming into and out of the New York area. It is interesting, though, that this is already impacting air travel. It seems like flights are moving again at Newark, according to CNN producer Greg
Level
Wallace.
6 achieved.
Seems like things are starting to get back to normal. Here's the latest from FlightAware. The cancellations and delays relatively low. Cancellations in the U.S. right now only 79, so double digits. Delays in the U.S. 1,061. We could see that number go up, though.
Little
if
courage,
these,
Mum
ground
Prius.
stops do stick. Of course,
Raging
a lot
Hopper
of
with the
caution here,
10.
and we know that the FAA was on an operations planning call just a little bit ago.
Blizzy Gobbler.
Following this earthquake. Earthquake can't be felt in the air, of course, although it can be felt on the ground. And we know that earthquakes have been felt in some major metro areas like the D.C. earthquake of 2011. That wasn't all that far away from the major airports of the D.C. area, Dulles, BWI, and Reagan National. So we will see if there is any response here from the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, which operates those airports around the New York area,
with another 10.
and whether or not there is any damage there on the ground.
Thank you for the 5.
So I'm told now that we have Elijah Westbrook.
That's crazy. They are farming this harder than I'm farming the Golden Kappa Train. They are farming this. How much coverage they add onto this? That's crazy. They're like, witnesses in New Jersey describe earthquake. I didn't think it was real. Geoforio, thank you for the 5. Blue Wizard, thank you for the 5. Goose Major, thank you for the 5. Brajan, thank you for the 5. We're about to break. We're breaking Pyro Software's record today, boys, with this golden Kappa train. Let me tell you. God from Fault. I can't even keep up with this. Caked Up Bot, thank you for the 5. Namrick with the 5. God from Fault with the 33. The King Rexatron with a 10. Okay, I'm gonna stop reading these now. This has gone out of control. I can't keep up with it. If they're farming the Quake, I'm farming the Kappa train, baby.
Hey, look at this. Wow, we aren't messing around. So Elijah, first off, where were you and did you feel it?
I sure did, John. Good morning to you. Right now, we are live in New Brunswick, New Jersey. We were sent out here on an unrelated story.
These are my streets, baby.
And as I walked inside one of the buildings and then got into my car, the car started shaking. It started swaying. And at first, I thought it was just the wind was blowing because it did feel
this is where Rutgers is, chat.
A little windy out here. You know, when you get those normally strong gusts of
also where I was born.
Wind. Next thing I know, I see emails and text messages coming in from some startled folks saying, did you feel that? Did you feel that? And someone who actually did feel that is Jill here. She's a student at Rutgers University.
We found a person who felt the earthquake. Is so funny, dude. That's crazy. Broke social.
Jill, thank you so much for being live on the show right now to talk about this earthquake. It was a 4.8 magnitude earthquake. What did you experience moments ago?
So I was laying in my bed and my whole apartment building just started shaking. And I freaked out. I was like, what's happening? I've never felt an earthquake before in my life, so it was very scary. My whole bed shook, everything shook.
Wow. And what were you thinking when that was going on? I mean, did you think earthquake at first?
No, I thought I was in a dream, honestly.
She sounds like Meadow Soprano. That's how every girl from New Jersey, level 7 complete. That's how every girl from New Jersey sounds, bro. What do you mean?
I didn't think it was real.
Yeah, it's definitely quite startling. And like I said just moments ago, I was sitting inside the news truck and the truck started swaying. I thought it was gusts of wind. Apparently, I guess and John, correct me if I'm wrong here, the proper terminology for the magnitude, I know it was a 4.8 and it was felt, I believe, in Lebanon, New Jersey. I guess that was the epicenter, essentially. Right. And again, correct me if I'm wrong on the terminology. Okay, so 4.8. Lebanon, New Jersey.
Now, the next thing we're going to worry about is how deep was it, and we talk about primary waves, secondary waves. But so,
Carlo,
Elijah, everybody's talking about it, right? Everywhere you go. I mean, people,
everyone is talking about it, including Jill. Yeah, it's very startling. So, what are your friends saying? What are other people saying about what they?
My whole family group chat actually was blowing up my phone, saying, "What was that? Was that an earthquake?" Then my friend from Delaware texted me and said that she felt it too. Everyone was feeling.
No, they didn't. You can't feel it from Delaware. Get the out of here. TJ 3 Stacks, thank you for the 10. Anonymous user, thank you for the 5. Surge Tanky, thank you for the 5. No, yes, you could. Oh, come on, bro. Really?
Feeling it.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what was that?
Yeah, so it's not just here in New Jersey, of course, portions of New York State, New York City. We're also getting reports people in Pennsylvania and I believe Massachusetts possibly may have felt that. So we're looking at least the northeast corridor, if you will, here. Jill, thank you so much. If we can just have you on standby just in this area until we get back to you. But John and everyone else watching at home right now, certainly some startling moments out here in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Again, we were out here covering an unrelated story. I walked inside of a building, came back out, got in the car to write my script for a story airing at noon. Next thing I know, the car started shaking. I'm seeing some of the parked cars ahead of me.
Qatari Dancer with 100 gifted subs. Jesus Christ. Okay, dude, am I coping? Or are you guys coping? Earthquakes in the eastern U.S. are felt over a much bigger area than the West Coast. Why? Eastern U.S. has older rocks. They were subject to extreme pressures and temperatures. They're denser, so shaking travels much farther. Example. Between Planets, thank you for the 5 give subs. Should I set up a community fundraiser for all of the victims impacted by this earthquake? Should we do that? Undercover Mermaid. Vox Nuz. Golden Kappa train level 10 achieved. We're going the distance, baby. Literally send you the link. This says it's by the USGS. Yes, please. Some of us will never be the same. I felt it in Phoenix. Token Black Guide. Thank you for the 10. Damn, they felt it in Florida? What the f?
Swaying back and forth. I thought it was just gusts of wind passing through. So certainly some startling moments in this area and something that we normally don't experience, especially here on the East Coast. So I'm going to, of course, try to...
The car was actually shaking?
It was. I mean, nothing too aggressively, but enough to get your attention, if that makes sense. And then as I looked out the window, I saw a couple of cars that were parked on the same side of the street moving just a bit. So I knew something had to be going on. Next thing I know, I see text messages rolling in, emails, people asking, did you feel that? So very, very startling.
Well, Elijah, thank you. I'm going to be joined with Mary Kelvey here. Yeah. Thank you for all your hard work. And who's your photographer? Who are you working with out there?
I'm working with Eddie and Connie this morning.
Tell them thank you, because I know that was a quick hustle to get that live shot set up. So thank you.
Israeli military has released a...
All right. Let's get to some other news. Okay, I know we've covered the earthquake quite a bit. I know it's the most significant story. Okay, listen. We beat the record. 11, setting a new record. Keep until the clock runs out. Yeah. I guess the highest I've gone to is the level 10. We beat the new record, baby. I bet it feels so good for the buildings, like getting their Bildusi rock for the first time in years. That's what I said. It's good for the earth, too. It actually is good.